Let's dive into a story that's thousands of years old, but you know what? Its central theme is something we still deal with every single day. What happens when your deepest conviction runs head-on into public ridicule? This is all about faith, mockery, and that one single moment when everything, and I mean everything, changes.
And it all starts right here with these four simple words. This isn't just about people disagreeing with him. Oh no, this is pure mockery. It's the sound of an entire community looking at one man and his idea and deciding it's completely insane. And to really get why, you have to understand the task Noah was given.
So, I want you to just picture this for a second. Imagine you're told to build a gigantic ship, a massive ark, but you're not near an ocean, not even a big lake. You're on bone-dry, dusty ground, probably miles from any serious body of water, and there's not a single cloud in the sky. I mean, from the outside looking in, this doesn't just look odd, it looks like pure madness. It's a project that has absolutely no basis in the reality that everyone else is seeing. You've got this one man, Noah, working day in and day out on this enormous vessel, while the weather is just perfectly sunny. You can just feel the confusion from his neighbors, slowly turning into outright ridicule.
And that ridicule, it wasn't a one-time thing. It became his daily soundtrack. Long before any storm clouds gathered up in the sky, a totally different kind of storm was brewing right there on the ground. A storm of public opinion, just filled with skepticism and disbelief.
This was the question he probably heard every single day. And you know it wasn't a genuine question, right? It was a taunt. It was a jab. It's the sound of everyone around him pointing out the obvious absurdity of what he was doing, trying to wear him down with their so-called logic.
And then, of course, came the follow-up. This one-two punch of mockery was just relentless. It was a constant challenge to his sanity, his mission, his whole grip on reality. You have to imagine the social pressure he was under must have been absolutely crushing.
But this is where the story makes a hard pivot. We shift from the noise of the crowd to the quiet, steady resolve of one person. See, Noah didn't get into debates. He didn't try to argue his case. His response wasn't in his words. It was in his work. He just kept building. And just look at this incredible contrast. On one side, you have everybody else. Their reality was based on what they could see and touch. The hot sun, the dry earth, what seemed like simple logic. But on the other side, you have Noah. He was operating on a completely different reality, one based on a promise he couldn't see yet. It's like two different worlds existing in the exact same place at the exact same time.
So, how did he do it? That's the key. It wasn't some grand, dramatic gesture. It was just a methodical daily grind. Plank by plank, he built that ark. Every single swing of the hammer was an act of faith. Day by day, he put up with the laughter. His obedience was this quiet, steady rhythm against the loud, chaotic noise of all that mockery.
And he kept this up for years, decades even, until the very thing that everyone said was completely impossible happened. This is the turning point, the moment where one person's reality is about to shatter everyone else's.
Everything was just as it had always been. The sun was probably shining, the ground was dry, the usual laughter was probably in the air. And then, something shifted.
Can you even imagine the shock? For the very first time, a sound that proved Noah's entire life's work wasn't a waste. That familiar blue sky suddenly starts to darken, and the air isn't broken by laughter anymore, but by the rumble of thunder. The impossible was starting to happen right before their eyes.
And it all came down to this: one single drop of rain. It seems so small, doesn't it? But that one drop was everything. It was the proof. It was the validation. It was the physical evidence that Noah wasn't crazy after all. And just like that, silence. In that single instant, years of jokes and ridicule became completely irrelevant. The confidence of the crowd just evaporated, and it was replaced by this sudden, chilling quiet. Mockery turned to fear. What was once a joke had just become their terrifying new reality. Talk about a dramatic reversal. The very same people who had been laughing and pointing fingers were now begging for help. The entire power dynamic shifted in a heartbeat. The man they all ridiculed now held the only key to their survival.
So after the floodwaters rise, in the quiet that follows, we find the real lesson of this whole story. It's about what's left standing when all the noise, all the doubt, and all the mockery gets washed away.
And this is the ultimate takeaway, isn't it?
Noah's faith looked completely illogical, irrational, and, foolish to everybody around him, right up until the exact moment it was proven true. The lesson here isn't that your faith has to make sense to other people. It's that you have to hold on to it, no matter what, until the very end.
And at the very core of that kind of faith is this powerful idea of obedience. And we're not just talking about blindly following an order. It's about having a deep, profound trust in the process itself, especially when you and everyone around you can't see the final outcome.
And that really brings us to a final thought. A question for you. What are you building on dry ground right now? What deep conviction do you hold that maybe other people are questioning or even making fun of? Because if this story teaches us anything, it's that the very thing that looks the most foolish today might just be the arc that carries you safely into your future.